your tape, always go the direction of the drain wires. Depending upon what you have to use, whether it's a newer style cable ringers or the older ones, you can at least make a mark with them, and you can either try to ring it enough to where you can just break off the drain wires, or you can remove all tape and then just cut along your marks. You want these to try to be as straight as possible. These cable ringers do like to try to walk. They're so thin. So you got that way, or even sometimes I just prefer to go ahead and use my cutting pliers, because sometimes when you're bending up like that, it will leave a full bend in it. You'll have a good mark that you can see. That way you have a good flush cut all the way around. You want to work on all your lines being straight and flush on everything you're doing on these openings. Semicon, especially when we get to that, that's the most critical spot. At this point, we'll apply 4 wraps of 15-amp braid, making sure you cover those ends good, all your trimmed ends. And 4. One more just to make sure right there. Stretch it a little bit, come across and wrap it itself and tie it off. Just make sure it's in there tight. Apply a couple wraps of tape over the top just to hold it for the time being. Leave yourself a little tail so it's easy to get a hold of when you get done. When you get to where you need to go to that point. You'll get your measurement for your semicon. I like to go off the end of the cable if we're doing a disconnectable joint, and you're going to mark on. Now on our new hand tape splices, you can still come off here, which is going to be 1 1/4 to 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 on the measurement. This one I'm opening now is a disconnectable joint, so I know I need 6 3/4 from the end of my cable. So I'll make a mark there, grab my semicon score. I'll always make sure that my depth is set good on this. If you've been using on the same cable over and over again, you know you're in good shape. Make sure you're on square cut to start. Tighten this up, and it does show on here which way the cable end needs to be, and you're going to turn counterclockwise. Make 2 full turns in square cut. Being real smooth with it, because you can jump it if you try to force it too hard, too fast. Because if it jumps off, then you're going to have a not smooth cut off at the end. And like I say, that is the most critical point in our opening, because that semicon, that's a high stress level. I flipped it to spiral cut, and then I'm gonna just continue down the end of the cable doing counterclockwise. See there, it jumped off on me. So now I'm going to have to try to hit that exactly back. Why it's doing that right now. I always try to see where it comes out and then loosen it off so it doesn't just slam itself. You watch where it comes out. Sometimes it helps make it a little easier to grab. Get started with your semicon. Once you get started, you can just work your way down, peeling it off. Now, since it slipped off a couple times, I'm going to have to be careful. Don't just tear it off in that spot. And get past it and keep going.
Very slow at the end.
I'll remove a little bit just to make it easier. When I get towards the end here, I want to go real slow with it. I want to make sure that I'm trying, because I want that to be as smooth as possible on my takeoff here. A little bitty spot right here, but when I sand my cable, I can sand up the inside and it'll knock it off. Now I will go ahead and sand now, that way it's ready. You can do it after you've already put your connector on and put it together. But the last thing you want to do is remove your insulation until you're ready to stick it in your connector. If you're making one of our regular splices, then yeah, you're going to have to pencil the cable. If you're hand taping, you'll have to pencil the cable so you won't have that luxury, so you might as well just take it off there and then go. I would need to do my jacket. Follow your instructions on a cold shrink splice, because it'll tell you probably 6 inches normally to sand that jacket back. Prefer to use 80 grit on that. You're going to use 120 grit on the insulation. Now I'll get my measurement for my connector takeoff. And go ahead and set your bob machine again. You want to make sure you have a good mark back here, because it does when it runs around it so much. You can rub it off, or also no telling where your blade hits the end, so you want to be prepared. I usually go to about number 5 to 6 or so on the angle to go down here for this cutoff. Then I'll watch my blade. Get to my spot. You want to back it off just a hair. And push it up to square cut, and you got to be careful with that because sometimes they do want to try to walk. Your other option at this point would be to use your cable ringers to make your cut off back there. You just don't, but you want to make sure you're not, you don't ring it too deep, because then you have a whole nother issue to start with. Once you get that, just remove. And like before, you want to try to be careful removing your insulation here. And then you're going to conduct the brush. Tap it off, get the graphite, and then put in your connector, and there you go from there. Clean it and work it from there.